Boy, you walked right in the middle of a hornet's nest.
No, I was like, what have I walked into? Steven, what's wrong with Paul Stevens? Oh, no, it's horror. But it's not an accident. It's not an accident they picked him. It's not an accident. This is revenge. But from the day that Trump won, they came for the people who put him there. Bill O'Reilly, Tommy Lahren, you, me. From the day that that election in November didn't go as all of the architecture of American public life had geared it up to be, how it pointed, that horror show they woke up to, that alternate dimension that the establishment left woke up in that day. Well, someone needed to pay. Someone needed to pay for that, and they needed revenge. They wanted blood, and this is a perfect example. It's not going to stop, by the way.
They admit, I know they've done this to you, we should probably talk about this when we come back, we're not whining, it's pretty interesting just to know the anatomy of how they're trying to have a coup against anybody that's pro-America, pro-Constitution, classical liberal like yourself or myself. I mean, they have had BuzzFeed, all these other big publications for years, camped out here now for almost 2 years, literally talking to the dog catcher. Ushers at movie theaters, like trying to get people to make something up.
I have BuzzFeed reporters DMing people who were in pictures with me when I was on a college tour 2 years ago.
Exactly.
2 years ago at 2 a.m., there's a picture of me and a couple of like college football players in a bar late at night. And they're like, I bet there's something. There must be something. So they go and they look for these people and they actually identify the guys and start DMing them saying, hey, I'm from BuzzFeed. Just wondering if you have any time to talk about Milo. And of course, these guys turn around and send it to me. And they're like, what is this about? I don't know. But they have an army of people just dedicated to digging around. They all have their own beats. There's one guy who's on Breitbart, one guy who's on InfoWars, one guy who's on all the rest of it, and they are paid to just tease out stories from weird, half allegations from 2 years ago, in an attempt to get revenge on the people who did this to them.
In fact, I was telling Seagal about that just this morning. I said, no, they go on Facebook, they go to places where I just shake somebody's hand at an airport, and if it's a woman, they get her, they call, they offer money. No, it's like, and the women are contacting us, and now they don't want me to get into this yet, okay, because there's stuff going on, investigations, you name it. But some of this is criminal, and we've got them, we've caught them. So I'm going to be taking action very soon.
No, I mean, someone walked up to me in an airport and said, hey, I'm a huge fan, can I get a selfie? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they put the video on and started chanting like neo-Nazi slogans to try to get me, and I had to immediately turn around and say, how about you go F yourself, and almost shove the guy away from me, because, if they just trimmed out the beginning of that video and be like, oh, here's Milo with one of his fans, drop that from some pseudonymous thing. Well, they did get me. They stung me in that bar late night in Texas.
They stood up and hollered Hitler?
$10,000 BuzzFeed paid for that video.
For people to go in, you're speaking, and guys go, Heil Hitler, and then it's your fault.
It's like, wait, what? By that time, the video's already on someone's phone. They're running out the door, and they're getting $10,000 from BuzzFeed. I'm like, oh, my God.
Which is George Soros.
It's terrifying.
But here's the good news. It ain't working. You're the real Nazi collaborator, Soros, you old evil demon. We'll be right back with Milo Yiannopoulos, talking about his best-selling book they tried to stop from being published. Stay with us. Well, Milo Yiannopoulos is in studio riding shotgun with us for the next hour and a half, probably more. And then we had Steven Seagal and his former LA prosecutor lawyer on, that big exclusive. And we've got all these Trump clips in Davos as he just goes and cheerleads for America and the economy comes roaring back. But we're not complaining as libertarians, as conservatives, as classical liberals. But when we start comparing notes on the harassment and the incredible stuff that not just BuzzFeed, but these other fake news combines engage in, imagine what it's like for the president.
Well, we have to, I think, do 5 or 10 times as much as anyone on the left to get a comparable level of success. And if you think about, I can't use Eventbrite to do events. I can't use Shopify to sell merchandise. I can't hold events in public spaces because leftists will threaten the venue so they get shut down. My YouTube, my Twitter is gone. My YouTube and Facebook and Instagram are all suppressed, so people don't see me in there.
And you are the pilot for all the, because you're good-looking, smart, patient libertarian. You were patient zero to be banned.
I'm the trendsetter, patient zero. No, I mean, they're going to come for me on Facebook soon, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's only a matter of time. If you really think through all of the hurdles that people like us have to jump through for the crime of being pro-First and Second Amendment and quite liking Donald Trump, and that's really the extent of our sins. you know, and liking to crack a joke and not being politically correct. That's the extent of our sins. That really is it. We express opinions and views that millions of ordinary Americans hold. And for that crime, you know, they try to suffocate all your avenues of business. They suffocate your avenues of spreading your message, all the rest of it. We have to work at least 10 times as hard. You know, these feminists are always saying, oh, I'm a woman, I have to work 20 times as hard to get the same thing as a man. No, but we're conservatives and Republicans.
On the internet plantation gulag, I know it's true. We keep beating their censorship, but it's true. We are now, it's made us much, much more resilient and inventive.
Well, you know, we've realized we've got to build our own empires. You've got your, like, you know, you've got this citadel down here. I'm building my own small version in Miami.
No, you're doing great.
You know, we've got this, we now have realized that we've got to build our own castles where they can't come and get us. But that's not even the worst of it. Whether it's like the hacking into emails, the leaking, I mean, you know, all of the various stuff, you know, oh, your email tranche is shown up on BuzzFeed, your phone records are here, blah, 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 blah. And then you show up at an airport in real life, and people are trying to sting you, trying to, you know, run up to you. And you know, I was telling you, you know, somebody ran up to me and tried to chant Hitler slogans, you know, to try to get that little clip they wanted to say, oh, here's Milo with a fan in an airport, you know, chanting about 1488. No, actually,
and it shows the left knows it's all bull. They've gotten a script. And the average leftist has gotten so weaponized, whether it's dumping coffee and screaming Nazi, or whether it's running up screaming Nazi and standing beside you, they know they're trying to frame us.
No, they do. It's so terrifying and it's so miserable. But I like it. One, because it makes me, it means I have to be more inventive, and it means that I'm building, you know, like you are, these you know, walled citadels where they can't get us. But it also means we're winning the argument, and then we're winning the argument. It's why Donald Trump is in the White House, because people are looking out. They've got InfoWars, they've got Breitbart, they've got Milo, they've got all the, you know, Daily Caller, whatever it is on this side. On the other side, they've got ABC, NBC, CBS, the New York Times, Daily Beast, you know, BuzzFeed, and they're saying, I believe those guys. You know, that's what we have done. We have achieved that. We've accomplished that together.
Exactly. They can't take the victory away.
No.
Though they're trying to put us 6 feet under politically and probably even physically.
And commercially especially.
Yes.
You know, one of their major lines of attack, which never gets covered enough, you occasionally get a story on Breitbart saying a conservative figure X, whether it's Lawrence Southern or me or you or whatever, has been banned from payment system or distribution network Y. And everyone's like, okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, that happens to conservatives. But what you don't realize is the impact, the effect of that. It's like we're all trying to run businesses, and we're trying to run businesses on the internet.
And it's discriminatory.
And they come from
like a gay couple wins hundreds of thousands of dollars because somebody won't bake their cake. And I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. But then we, as libertarians or conservatives, are being banned, like Drudge warned years ago, to this internet ghetto.
Where is my $500,000 from Eventbrite? You know, like live events is my bread and butter, and it's so difficult to do them in the US now. You know, live events is my bread and butter. Where's my 500 grand from Eventbrite for banning me on ideological grounds from a service that they say is, you know, whatever. Anyway,
two different venues just ignored their contract with Cernovich in New York last week, and he had to get a third one. I mean, this is the new system.
I was texting him at midnight, putting him in touch with my agent and my manager and my booking guy, saying, like, I don't know if they can help with this late notice, but you know, dude, my resources are your resources.
You know, you've wanted to do some shows with me, and I kind of am in the Citadel mode.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I know it'd be a huge event. You know, you're great. You don't really need me, but now I see we probably need to do them just to still do it, to exercise it as a right, or we're going to lose it.
No, we should do it.
It's like black people saying, I'm sitting at the front of the bus, or I'm going to eat at the lunch counter. The left is so...
It would have been deranged to say that like 10 years ago, but it isn't anymore. And now, you know, discrimination on the basis of skin color, sexuality, gender, race has basically disappeared in America to be replaced by discrimination on the basis of political viewpoint. We are absolutely, you know, the new Rosa Parks. I'm sorry to say it.
Since you say that, I did an hour and 38 minutes not plugging one thing, because we have a tendency to do that as well. You haven't plugged Dangerous, your book that was #1 on Amazon and the top 10 New York Times bestseller list before it even came out in pre-orders, and they banned the book. You had to self-publish. Same thing. They found out I have a book proposal out with Neil Strauss. He says he's never in his whole experience.
They leaked it just now. I saw it a few days ago.
And then the publisher said, sorry. He said he's never seen a book banned before the deal was made.
No, before it's even been pitched in some cases. You know, like there are publishers who hadn't even heard of it yet who are now like, you know, like they learned their lesson from Milo.
So what people need to do is they need to go to InfoWarsStore.com and fund both of us and all order Dangerous and give it to college students, you know, that are really being brainwashed. Read it, donate it to your local library. to reach more people. Get Dangerous, InfoWarsStore.com. Wherever you get it, go to Milo's website, because, again, just like Drudge came here 2 years ago and said, look, you better only focus on your own areas, you know, InfoWars and expanding that, because they're coming to take everything away from you, and now they're doing it. People should go get a Milo Show annual or monthly membership to support your broadcast, so you can then venture outside the castle. It's people that are originally funding us. Buy the supplement. We've got Bodies, one of the strongest, best turmeric blends out there. Whole body support, that just came in 50% off. We have the pollen block from the Japanese quail that they then feed a proprietary special diet. In France, it's been known to massively reduce all the different problems you have from seasonal discomfort, from the pollen and all the garbage that's out there. This stuff is incredible. It's 51% off, $17.76 out of the gate. We need your support. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. I had a caller about 2 weeks ago named Frank. I've been calling him for over a decade. And he was mad. He goes, I'm sick of you talking about, you brag how you're under attack and, you know, how important you are. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. They're having congressional hearings saying they want me completely banned. The Democrats want me arrested. They're suing me. Literally, Hillary Clinton's law firm. Wait till it comes out. I can't talk about it yet. I said, listen, I'm under attack, Frank. Okay, they banned us off Google Ads. We were bringing $5 million in a year. It cost a lot to run this. They're just chopping off all my tentacles. I keep growing more as fast as I can, and as fast as I cut them off, I'm shooting out tentacles. But if you guys just fund us and buy the product, it's over. And they attack the site. I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
No,
it's just, I never asked this. Tell Frank why we need support. Tell him right there. Frank,
you're an idiot. Frank, this is not bragging. Oh, this one. Frank, this is not bragging. We don't say, oh, we're under attack for attention or because we like the attention, although, of course, everybody likes a little bit of attention. It's nice.
But now it's about survival.
No, it is about survival. I mean, look, think about this, right? You're trying to run a business online. You're trying, you know, to save the civilization you love. What gets me up in the morning is I think America is the best country in the history of human civilization, and I really, really, really hate the left, and I want to see them suffer. I want to see them curled into a little ball in the corner of the room with a crowd kicking them to death. And that's what gets me up every morning. But I can't do TV, and I can't do radio, and I can't publish books, and I can't sell anything, and I can't do live events because they systematically strangle you out of existence using every...
We're the heretics.
Yeah, exactly, using every resource at their disposal. So it's not bragging, it's a daily reality, and that's why you got to support things like InfoWars and
sure, and we didn't do it for the last hour and 30-something minutes. We're doing it now. InfoWarsStore.com. Go get a T-shirt, get a book, sign up for auto ship, get an additional 10% off on any of these things. That makes a lot of them lost leaders, and then that way each month it reships to you. Cancel anytime for free. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. Listen, everybody wants somebody to fight. We're fighting, and we love you and we appreciate you. All we're saying is we kick their ass, but they're doubling down on us to make examples of us. If you make examples of us and fund us, we will be victorious and you win. We'll be back with Milo. And it's Milo Yiannopoulos with the best-selling book, Dangerous, Milo. But now you're launching your own transmission to get the word out, to not be censored, to then feed into all the other platforms. And if people want to have exclusive access to that, how do they do it?
Well, I'm taking your lead. You're my inspiration in this. So if you go to dangerous.com, that's all the journalism that we publish. Dangerous.com/join is where you can join up to watch my new show, which is going out Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Central. It's going to be going out every day. You can watch it any platform, any device, any format, whatever you want. And it's a couple of bucks a month. Or it's nothing at all. Yeah. So
but together that moves mountains. And of course, you were telling me, I mean, you're going all over the world, selling out huge crowds of people, and you're finding the venues that are about free speech.
Yeah, we are.
And so we're creating our own economies. This is what they really fear.
We are. You know, and it really, this should be a cause of deep and abiding shame to American citizens. I just came back from Australia in December. I did 12,500 tickets. I think we did 8 shows in 5 cities, 1.5 million gross. It was a hugely successful tour. Numbers like no author has ever seen or heard of. You know, I write books. I'm a journalist for a living. Journalists don't get those kinds of crowds. And in Australia, I sold 12,500 tickets for an 8-day run. And we struggle to do, 1 or 2 shows in America because the venues cancel after threats from leftists. People are scared, all the rest of it. This is a deep and abiding stain on American public life, supposedly the home of the First Amendment.
These are very dangerous authoritarians, and they're also running a very dangerous game of the Streisand effect. Historically, if you try to suppress something that's popular and something that's truthful, you're successful for a while, but like a beach ball underwater, when it finally explodes, it shoots 20 feet in the air.
I like that metaphor. We're both perfect examples of that. We're both people who have exploded out into mainstream popular culture over the last couple of years. They based it. I just watched the new the X-Files return, and they have this character based on you in X-Files. I mean, that is like you're in their heads. This is mainstream media, like
well, they admit they've got
like this. Is it Todd something or other in that show? You're living in their head. And Scully was like, it was a sympathetic character by the end because he was right. You remember also, you start off and you think they're kind of caricaturing you in an unflattering way, but by the end of that season, you realize he was right about it.
Well, that was Chris Carter, who's got a lot of courage. He said, I like Alex Jones. He's really libertarian, not a racist. That character was positive, and he did do that. All the others, Homeland, I mean, the Stephen Colbert characters, I'm going to talk about myself all day, but I'm not that interesting. You're right. There's like 9 or 10 shows right now where they parody me and have me say horrible stuff, and it isn't me, but then their viewers believe like somehow that's me on the street, even though they know it's not real.
But here's the thing, they hear that and they think they know what you are. And then all you have to do is get a little slice of yourself in front of them. So what I always say is, like, watch 5 minutes of me on YouTube, read one column of mine at breitbartdangerous.com, whatever. And suddenly people are like, whoa, you're not what they told me you were. And the person whose reputation ends up being damaged in the long run is theirs, not ours, which is why as much, parody and negative attention and, ridicule they try to throw at us, it only serves us in the end. Because, here's the thing, when in the 90s, on sitcoms and TV shows, they would invoke politics. It would normally be at the expense of the character in the show. Now you've got this thin, mean, vindictive politics of Will and Grace, and they're making jokes about Betsy DeVos. None of their viewers know who Betsy DeVos is. It's just unnecessary attempts at jokes at the expense of people who have the wrong politics. Well, the only people who look bad are them.
That's an astute point, because we've won the news wars.
Yeah.
Mainstream media is discredited, but only 20% or so really watch the so-called news regularly. Now, the big problem is that they're now targeting with pure propaganda the entertainment shows. But like you said, these are viewers that tuned out of politics.
Wrong.
They don't even know what it is.
They're getting it wrong. You watch Will and Grace, this revival on whatever it is, NBC or ABC, and I'm watching it, and I liked the show first time around. It wasn't hugely political first time around. It was nice, I guess, as a young gay person to see gay people on TV, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't care that much, but it was a perfectly nice show the first time around. But now it's come back, and they're making these heavy-handed, everything's about Trump, and Trump in every single episode. And then weird jokes about Betsy DeVos's appearance. And you're thinking to yourself, well, hang on a second, this is not only complete and total 180 on the feminist politics you're supposed to
the fat shaming, just like the Young Turks called me a effing fat piece of crap. But the same woman said a month before people that fat shame should be basically arrested. And then...
Yeah, Cenk is hardly the epitome of, of 1950s idyllic athleticism, is he? Their own boss. No, but these vindictive attempts to smear and lie.
Look what they say about the press secretary, Sanders.
Chelsea Handler is Chelsea used to be really funny. She was really funny. Like what's the other one? Silverman. Sarah Silverman was really funny before she contracted feminism. They were funny. They were told jokes about blacks, gays, Jews, you name it. And it was really funny, and it was a little bit transgressive, and it was naughty, and you were like, oh, should I be laughing at this? And now they reserve that kind of transgressive humor just solely for people with the wrong politics, just for Republicans. And it isn't funny. It's not.
Don't even tell overweight people they might want to lose some weight. That's hateful, the left says. But then all of their comedians, all of their priests, all of their leaders literally scream and yell and call everyone fat. They call the president fat. They call the press secretary fat. I mean, and they're just they're such hypocrites. So where is it all going?
I'm becoming an expert, by the way, on fat studies. It's a new academic discipline in some of the very most privileged elite liberal arts colleges in America. They've got these new programs called fat studies, where they interrogate the large body and its perception in society. The latest one was something came out in the Journal of Fat Studies, which is a peer-reviewed journal, Fat Studies, and it said that large women, because they don't fit into the furniture in classrooms, feel their bellies spill over the top. They have negative educational outcomes. They don't mention the alternative possibilities, which is if you don't have the self-control to stop eating, you might not have the discipline to do well at school.
And also
because other people are bigoted and are looking at you mean.
And also that it might kill you. I mean, I'm still a little bit overweight, but I've lost like 60 pounds. I'm a stocky guy, but it was family and friends going, dude, 30 minutes every couple of days on the elliptical isn't enough. You need to lose some pounds, bro. And thank God they did. I feel a lot better.
Yeah, you look a lot better. And here's the thing. It's not just the left with their hypocrisy. It's corporate media getting in on it as well. Look at JCPenney. JCPenney, which tried to rebrand itself as a quality retailer, at the same time started putting these ham planet pseudo-comedians in its ads saying you can be beautiful and healthy at any size. That's a lie. You can't. You will die. You will get polycystic ovary syndrome. You will get diabetes. You will have heart attacks, and you will die sooner. And corporate America...
Sure, so what, somebody 50 pounds overweight, they say dies 25 years earlier? I mean, it's just crazy.
No, if you actually look at how bad it is for you, when you get into your 50s, 60s, and 70s, if you're like 200 pounds overweight, you're gone. You won't even get to your 70s. You look at the negative health outcomes for people who are, who are seriously overweight. It's horrifying. And this new thing the left has come up with, fat studies, which says, I've got it, actually, I brought it with because I was hoping this would come up. Let me just read you the first 2 paragraphs from a book that's called The Fat Studies Reader. And it is a compilation of essays from academics who are attempting to rewrite the narrative around fat people as fat studies, an invitation to revolution. They say that we're the problem. They say if you believe fat people could and should lose weight, then you're not doing fat studies. You're part of the £58.6 billion per year weight loss industry. And if you believe that being fat is a disease and fat people cannot enjoy good health or live a long life, you are part of the medico-pharmaceutical industrial complex that profits from dangerous attempts to cure people of bodily difference.
So these are people preying on folks in bad lifestyles, actually inject some more heroin,
and
smoke some more crack. Don't let them tell you. I mean, this is crazy.
But you know what? You know what? Even the Daily Beast noticed a few years ago when these courses started popping up at elite liberal colleges. They noticed that the people taking fat studies weren't fat. They were rich, skinny liberals. And this is...
who wanted to go manage the fat people.
Exactly.
That's the left. See, I used to think the left, the modern left, was dumb. They're not.
No.
They are predators.
No, they are predators. And this is rich, skinny, liberal women who want to be able to dictate to the poor, unwashed masses, to regular Americans.
They want to be the priesthood. They go, everybody's getting super obese because all the additives and overeating.
But don't worry, it's fine, because my daddy's uncle who owns Unilever and my mom's whatever who owns Kraft, they'll sell you the food you want, and they'll sell you the medicine.
That's what I noticed. We had Antifa
medicine to fix
come out and attack us once, and I followed them, and they got in Mercedes and Jaguars, $100,000 ones, and had like hot models in the car. And then I learned one of them's dad is the vice president of Time Warner, and another one's is the owner of a bank.
Look,
they know what they're doing.
The #1 profession of those Antifa Black Bloc protesters who come out and smash towns up when I speak on college campuses. Professors. It's the school's own professors who are who are in there, who come out.
Well, that's because they keep arresting them and finding out they're like leading professors.
No, and look, when you are continuing attempts to try to stage a successful talk at UC Berkeley, right? Every time that protesters come out UC Berkeley and they come out, the Black Bloc protesters come out and smash the town up. It's mostly graduate students and professors leading the charge.
Wow. Milo Yiannopoulos is here with us. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com, Newswars.com. I know you know about the Infowar, but when you keep spreading the links and telling folks about it and putting a bumper sticker on your car, it defeats the censors, and they hate it. They can't stand it. That local affiliate you're listening to on AM or FM or TV, tell people about it today at the grocery store, at your work, whatever. It's an Infowar. We're beginning to win.
I love the idea of just wandering into a grocery store and starting to tell people about Alex Jones.
I think it's a great idea.
Do it on camera.
Milo Yiannopoulos is here, best-selling book, Dangerous, despite the fact that the publisher backed out of it. And he's launching his own daily transmission. He's gone to around the world and just had huge overflow crowds, which shows their censorship is failing. But it's kind of like they shut us down here like a whack-a-mole. We pop up back there. But getting into Davos now, during the breaks, you had some great analysis of Trump going to Davos and knocking it out of the park. I mean, and I'm not like you're sycophantically worshiping Trump, but it's true. Compared to what Hillary would be doing right now, how could anybody not be really excited?
Oh, it's wonderful. And you see like the camera phone footage, and the guy looks so much bigger than everybody else, just in, figuratively speaking. He's like some kind of deity descending on all of these, gray suited, papery skinned, boring
followers,
blue tied, like non-entities. These non-entities is anodyne, kind of left.
Trump really does have an aura, and it's intensified.
No. You and I both been in the room with him many times, and
no, you many times, me only twice.
Okay, well, me only probably 3 or 4 times, but he has a center of gravity, and he has like and I've only.
But Melania even more.
Well, you would say so.
No, okay. Well,
you would say
tell
so.
me about it. Sorry.
I'm a daddy. But no, I've only noticed it. Two other people that I've been in the presence of who have had it were Margaret Thatcher and Mariah Carey. And all three of them I've sat across the table from, and all three of them had that thing where the world just slightly stops for a second when you're in their presence, and everything just seems like it's orbiting them, because it is. But
our reporter was there, and there was video of it. They said every room he went in, everybody got silent. And suddenly all these enemies went, I like Trump, I like Trump.
Yeah. And you've got these, did you see that footage of that business roundtable where you've got all of these, like, square spectacled Danish business leaders and Norwegians.
And they know the big alpha males in the room.
Yeah. And they also, and you can see them all hunched. All their body language changes. They kind of go like this and they go like this. And you got these Norwegians saying, oh, well, we have always loved America, and we are going to invest very heavily in America. And Trump's just sitting back, like, as if to say, yeah, you are. The guy's amazing. He's so cool. He's just cool, and he's still cool. And he keeps doing he keeps pulling off stuff that no other Republican would be able to do. And he's got this, like, slight smile on his face all the time.
And I'll tell you what it is. It's because a lot of people that know him really well behind the scenes. He really believes what he's doing, but also he hates all the stuff, suits and all the fake people. He makes fun of himself. It's a big joke to him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't give a crap about all these fake people. He cares about real people, and that's why they're like, why does it seem like so funny? Why does it seem he's so smug?
He's knowing, and he's like, he is an amazing performer. He is an amazing performer, and he sits at the table and he's like, oh, well, I've always managed to get a lot of press. Maybe someday somebody will tell me why. I don't know why. And he does this kind of like weird, faux innocent, coquettish kind of routine where he's like, I don't know, people just seem to want to write stories about me. And it's hilarious. It's so funny. He does it knowingly, consciously. He knows exactly what he's doing. The whole room is laughing, even though they don't really want to. The guy's great.
And then when he says stuff like CNN, you are fake news. The way he does it, you couldn't have 1,000 directors get it that good. The way he goes, you out, or you are fake news. It's just like,
but it wasn't out. It was Jim Acosta asked him this question. He just goes, out. It was the most perfect, beautiful, dismissive, contemptuous, but not angry. He wasn't.
It was just like out, like get that roach out of there.
He didn't
sweep that roach out.
It was contemptuous without being bitchy. He didn't give him the slightest bit more attention than he absolutely needed to. He just went out. It was beautiful. Beautiful. It's like, you're in my house.
Well, I have to say, because he just did it perfectly. It was like out. So what are they going to do, the parasites, the globalists that took the country over in the world, as they're displaced? Because Trump's riding the nationalist wave. It's not going. I mean, what are they going to do? There's no beating him in ordinary political terms. There's no beating him, with the usual tools of journalism, and there's no beating him with the usual tools of politics. He's going to Davos as a sort of conquering hero. He's arriving as Alexander the Great. And the barbarian hordes from elsewhere in the world are on their bellies.
They don't understand what they're looking at. They don't know how to fight this guy. They don't know what to do. He's just entering like a deity. Like, in 300 when Xerxes comes out of the gold and he's got all these and he stands like the height of a man and a half above everybody else, and they're all just like...
We'll be right back with Milo, who's on fire, by the way. And there's a lot of big world news, and I'm going to get to a lot of Milo and Ted Malloch and others coming up. But the celebration of the defeat of the globalists all over the world, of nationalism, and of Trump and the American people and others now politically delivering, that really is a big, big deal. And so what is their only hope? You're saying they can't beat him conventionally, politically, so now they're pushing, they want to kill him. Here's how they're going to do it again, if they're successful. CNN poll, Trump trails Sanders, Biden, Oprah in 2020 matchups. Well, I mean, Oprah is you see more tail than a toilet seat, not that that's a bad thing, and delivers women to Harvey Weinstein reportedly, and was a prostitute and all the rest of it. She's got an issue, so she already announced, and you want to get into that she's not running. We knew that was a stunt, but they want to make her a surrogate person, like women are against Trump. But here's how they'll do it. They put out fake polls. Now they used to show the methodology. Now I look and like 10, 20-page methodologies. They won't tell you the methodology, which tells you even more. How were all the polls wrong a year and a half ago? Okay, or a year and 2 months ago? Because they were fake. Because they sample 9 to 30+ points more Democrats. If they'll cheat on every other level, of course they're cheating. So the only thing they've got, Milo, other than assassinating the president, is trying to sabotage the economy, which they're not able to do right now, or keep saying everybody hates him, this hoax. Will they be successful with fake polls?
No, for the same reason they weren't successful with fake polls in the last election, because nobody believes them. I think polling is, to the extent that ordinary people think about it at all, people think of it as an extension of the journalism that has been lying to them for decades. I mean, you know, polling will never recover as a concept, less still an industry. Just as an idea of something that is a valuable guide to what people are thinking, will never recover.
Because it's always been twisted, but they went so far, they wrecked themselves.
They overreached.
They screwed the pooch.
They did. They overreached out of arrogance and complacency because they didn't even contemplate the possibility of losing.
So the headline is, Milo, the polling agencies killed themselves in 2016. I mean,
they didn't even contemplate the possibility of losing. Just like these FBI guys who were sending each other messages, clearly not even contemplating. You know, Obama involved in all of this, according to reports on your site. You know, Obama's involved in all of this. All the rest of it, they didn't even contemplate. They didn't plan.
Oh, they say there's no way he's going to win, but let's just manufacture
it's one of those things like
insurance policy.
It's like insurance that you have in case you die at 40, you know, which of course nobody ever does. It's, you know, whatever. But
the new thing is they've got all the usual suspects going on TV going, it's a conspiracy theory that these text messages show collusion or bias, but then they won't even read the text messages on air.
Oh, no. This is a new thing in the media. You've got Newsweek cover stories about Breitbart without a single on-the-record named source. You've got unnamed sources in the Washington Post and the New York Times. There is no depth to which they will not. And here's how you know you're winning, and here's how you see the seeds of the destruction of polling, which you just asked me about, and journalism more generally. Because they have suspended their own standards and their own principles. So desperate are they to take down Donald Trump. The only thing journalism has is its integrity, because journalism is a business that rests on reputation. You know, journalism is only as good as the opinion that readers have of the masthead and of the journalist individually. Journalism doesn't work unless you trust the person who's telling you. So that's why the New York Times is always, you know, that's why all the news is fit to print, and they have a reader's editor holding themselves to account. All of this is designed to maintain an idea that the New York Times, you can believe what you read.
Even though they're the standard of fraud, just like the Washington Post. Yeah, they have these billboards in Davos, and they're also on the trains saying, New York Times, truth.
Right, but you know, the whole news rests on a foundation of trust and of trustworthiness, and without that, the entire business collapses, and that's what's happening.
So let me ask you this question. Milo Yiannopoulos here in studio with us in Austin, Texas. Looking into your crystal ball, because you really are a smart guy, where does it all end? Where is it going? Because they're getting more and more radical, more and more crazy, and their attempts to stop this recovery, it's so obvious. So they're doubling down on what already didn't work. Where does this go? Because they're getting so insane. Like you said, we kind of have to be in armored citadels now because they're so crazed. They're like zombies, you know, stalking the land like Frankenstein.
The Walking Dead, except outside. You would imagine that it would be the dirty, you know, hemp covered libertarians and the gun-toting Republicans out there as the zombies. But no, the zombies are the New York Times and the Washington Post. It's us in the castle, and all we're doing is begging to be left alone. But no, your Citadel metaphor. Well, it was my.
Well, that's yours,
metaphor, yes. But our Citadel metaphor. I think it's. Yeah, I'm one of life's givers. Is literal as well as metaphoric, because the end point of this, I was talking to a friend of your show and a friend of mine recently who observed to me, and I'd never quite just heard it put this bluntly, it's obviously going to end in civil war. Facebook's going to get firebombed. CNN people are going to get attacked. And we don't say that with any pleasure, because we spend hours every day talking about the violence of the left.
They're cutting us off. Kennedy said.
We hate violence from the left. We hate violence as a response to political ideas. My whole career has been defined by violent protests against my ideas. We both spend hours a day criticizing the violence of the left. But there is only one inevitable consequence. When all of the organs and all of the architecture of civil society, everything is designed to attack decency and beauty and truth and goodness and you know, real news and reality, and that is that people are going to start to take up arms, and that is that people are going to say, look, Facebook won't let me express myself. The New York Times won't stop lying to me. I turn a TV show on ABC and I just want to laugh, and they're lecturing me about Betsy DeVos's bad looks and Donald Trump. Where do I go to let off steam? The left... And
I go on the street and they physically attack me with bike locks and hot coffee and say, die Nazi, when they're funded by a living Nazi collaborator.
The left is creating the conditions for civil war, and the way you know that is they've already started it. Antifa's already on the streets. They're already beating up the right.
They won't even let my reporters into events at the Capitol with guns, and the police go, we can't stop them. And there are guys with guns to my crew saying, are you scared? And my reporter's shaking. He goes, yeah, man, there's a bunch of guys with guns at me, and you're saying I'm scared. And they start hitting him with clubs.
Yeah, they've already started it. The left has already started it. I mean, the only thing that you can hope for is that, this doesn't get as ugly as it could, and that there's a swift resolution. I mean, you don't start a civil war with the side of the country that has all the guns. I don't think they're going to like it when it comes.
Well, that's what's been looking. I mean, that's what the military's looking at right now. The Patriots it's so crazy, and they're getting the communiques, and we've infiltrated the groups as well. They are planning a violent uprising. This is all just a beta test.
Yeah, they've already started it. They're doing the
no. I agree, but in the meetings they say they're probing us and getting us used to it. So when they finally really attack, and they plan to try to kill like 100 cops apiece, that's not going to happen. I mean, what's going to happen when they actually kill 30, 40 cops in each city? The cops are going to slaughter them all.
They're getting the media on side. They're getting CNN to do these...
That was in the Soros documents from 2015. They wanted to cause a race war, to trigger nationwide civil emergency, to have Obama come in and federalize all local government and then take over.
Right. And they've got CNN posting... I mean, this stuff sounds, like the plot of an X-Files episode we were talking about earlier, but this stuff is happening. And this is, that they've got CNN on side making excuses for Antifa. You've got Antifa supporting college professors publishing, manifestos. One just came out 2 months ago called the Antifa Handbook, I think it was. These people are setting out the terms of their war. They are setting out their stalls. They are planning. They are distributing their manifestos.
They're arming.
They're arming, and they're testing us out with these little incursions on college campuses, incursions at public events, incursions at inaugurations. I mean, this isn't speculation. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is what they're doing on American streets right now. They've already started.
And they're doing it all over the world. And the media and the big tech companies are all working in unison and admitting they're doing it. It's insane. And can't Bezos and all these guys worth hundreds of billions of dollars just stop? But they've somehow got to take over.
Aren't you happy? You're the wealthy, you're the wealthiest guy, or the third wealthiest guy in the world. You have everything you want. Can't you just leave the rest of us alone? Can't you just leave us be?
Why is it that almost all the ultra-rich people are so-called leftists?
I don't think that's true. I just think that the wealthy conservatives, by their nature, want to be left alone. They don't tend to be activists. I mean, if you think about the super donors on the Republican side, they're actually few and far between versus, corporate America, the leftist donor class, governments, the charitable sector, all the rest of it. The amount of money on the right. I mean, okay, you got establishment right, you got the Koch brothers, you got a few others, more libertarian, insurgent, Trumpian right. You got Sheldon, you got the Mercers, you got there are a few mega donors, but the money is, if you're people,
it's a lot smaller. The left has
the pool is tiny compared to the amount of money.
Ladies and gentlemen, Milo is here with us. He needs no introduction. His best-selling book, Dangerous, Milo Yiannopoulos. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. And don't forget, we are financing a reporter, Dan Lyman, doing a great job with amazing video and text reports at Davos. We've got the big cruise here, all the new shows we're launching. I'm looking at teaming up with Milo. We've been talking about speaking tours, him hosting shows with us. So he's not just here to go on the show today. A lot of exciting things happening as we bring the Renaissance back. Not liberal, not conservative, but true progress that is the West, that the globalists want to take over and create a technocracy and hijack the West, calling themselves progressives. They are total counterfeits. So please support the broadcast, InfoWarsStore.com. Whether it's Molon Labe T-shirts for men and women, whether it's Won't Tread on Me, the latest shirt of the month, whether it's Dangerous from Milo Yiannopoulos, it's all critical that you remember that we are financed by you. And now we have Body Ease, abbreviated, whole body support. I set out to come out with the top developer in the country, top organic developer in the country, the highest quality, 400 plus milligram pure. I mean, this is 95%. The average is 3%, okay? So this is 95% the chemical that is in the turmeric, the curcuminoids. It's unbelievable. 60-day supply, 50% off out of the gates. But it's been so successful, we got a limited run. It may be months till it comes back in. It'll be sold out in a week at the rate of sale. People wanted a high-quality turmeric product. You've got it, but folks are so blown away by the write-up on it that it is flying off the shelf, which is good. But at this price, we got to sell a lot of it to fund the operation. InfoWarsStore.com. Sign up for auto ship, and we never sell out because we hold back bottles for you. It's all automated at our shipping center in Central Texas, a few miles away. And then that will be shipped out to you at 10% off on the sale price. You already got it. We have another great new product that deals with the pollen. It's Pollen Block. Find out about its proprietary system and why it's chemical-free and how amazing it is at InfoWarsStore.com. And we've got to end this over the weekend because it's a limited sale. We have the Alexa Pure Breeze 4-stage filter, including ion. Leading competitors when this first came out were like $1,000. Now they've miniaturized and stuff like this has driven down the price. We were selling it $300 and $250. Now it's $200 normally. Leading competitors are $400 to $500 now for something that's exactly the same. Ladies and gentlemen, it's $50 off right now. It's $149 right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you're trying my pollen block there. It's quail eggs.
It's quail eggs?
The Japanese quail fed a special diet. The French discovered it. It's patented.
I woke up with a bit of a sniffly nose today because it's different.
Cedar,
you know, when you go to
horrible.
States, it's different.
No, we're the worst. Austin's the worst allergies in the country. I love Texas, but down the road, if we make enough money, I'm going to move this operation to a desert somewhere.
No, I noticed that. I know because I woke up this morning, I was a bit... No.
This knocks it out 80-90% within an hour.
All right. That's mine.
It's yours.
That's with me.
All right, riding shotgun with us, joining us for the next 2.5 segments or so, is Ted Malloch, known as the Davos man. He announced 7 years ago that Davos is dead and charted that a great new Americanism would be coming. And so we're going to be talking to him as soon as the Skype's ready. I'm told it just dropped. You know, Skype's amazing with these shows, but right when you're going to him, it drops.
No, I hate it.
Wait. He's good. He's back.
He's here.
Okay, boom. Ted Malloch, meet Milo Yiannopoulos, or maybe you've met him before.
No, we have. Hi, how are you?
Hey. Well, I wish you could see me. I've heard you speak. Good.
Oh, splendid. Well,
here we are. Wow, what do you make of what Trump did? It's exactly what you predicted. Selling America, promoting Americana, America's back. What do you make of this, Ted Malloch?
Well, I mean, of course, I watched the whole thing and took copious notes. I was cheering, but he was fantastic. I mean, the CEOs in the room at Davos were gaga. That's the only word. It was the 48th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. In fact, they've never seen anything like this before. There was, in effect, a kind of Trump-omania, an outright giddiness about his being there. U.S. growth.
They're like schoolgirls, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, U.S. growth is...
It's like he's Elvis in 1957 and the schoolgirls are throwing their panties at him.
Or the Beatles. You know, you've got the Danish finance minister going, woo!
Ted Malloch, let me ask this question. We had a reporter there. We got video of it. He said it himself that even liberal media admits he takes it by storm. They're captivated. The rooms are all quiet. Trump mania. I guess they built him up as Hitler, and then all he brings is prosperity. I mean, what are they thinking?
And everybody in that room is basically cashing in. There's been $7 trillion of new wealth created in America, particularly in the stock market, since he's been president. What we are witnessing is nothing less than the accommodation of the world to Donald Trump.
And again, we're not hyping this just to hype it. Ted, you're right. I look at the evidence and I go, I got to come in here and gush. I got to say he's exponentially broadcasting this invincibility aura. What is going on here, Ted Malloch?
Well, if you read his speech, and you can read the text, it's not very long. He's talking about free and fair trade. He mentions the word reciprocity over and over again, which is absolutely critical. You know, you do to us what what we do to you. It's very fair. And he's there representing the interests of the real American people. The American dream is back. After all these years of stagnation, we are back. He said he had a single message. The message was build, hire, and invest in the United States. When you were reading it, the message on the kind of bottom header at the CNN site, it said, U.S. is open for business.
And that's exactly what I said on Monday. He's going there to say we're back. and we're back in business, because he's been saying he would say that. And then they go, oh, he's going over there to sell out, blah, blah, blah. No. And now he says, listen, we'll renegotiate TPP. He said that during the campaign, Ted.
I know, but he said we'll renegotiate it on a bilateral basis. So it's not what the multilateralist wants. He gave the example even of Apple investing $350 million, $350 billion, new dollars in United States plants.
And he said that during the campaign. He said, Apple's coming back, gonna be huge.
He did. He's a nice color as well at the moment. I mean, I'm a great connoisseur.
Like a little less orange.
Well, I'm a connoisseur of Trump's differing fashion choices, which
Milo.
Also,
we don't need to hear how you got the hots for Trump. We already know that.
No, you can hear a little bit of it. No, his personal grooming choices are. Look, he's the leader of the free world. I think we can cope with one commentator who takes his look. Look. He's a very nice color at the moment. He's less orange, more. He looks more. You know, this is the fresh from
more Santa Clauses. Like he's got a little bit of white, little rosy cheeks.
A little, and the blonde is much more natural at the moment. You know, and he's looking great. He's looking really nice.
He looked like a cheerleader. He was a cheerleader.
I think he looks wonderful. He's got
what do you look like in a cheerleader outfit?
Sun-kissed, but well, I think that we could spare everyone. Spare everyone the thought. Oh.
I mean,
that's going to be the headline.
Said America first.
Look at it. Look at it. I could just project this on my bedroom wall forever and be perfectly happy for the next 50 years.
All right, Milo, you're awesome. Ted, you're awesome too. Come back and give us the hard analysis. I know you have inside sources at Davos as well. Because I did see the headline day one. We love Trump. He's made us all richer. But some globalists are angry. Money's going to the little guys as well. So why is Lloyd Blankfein still behind the scenes against Trump? Well, it's the most money Lloyd Blankfein's ever made. So we'll be back with Ted Malloch, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Alex Jones. Infowars.com, newswars.com. Tons of reports there right now. Yeah, they don't like Milo Yiannopoulos because he has a lot of fun and is popular and says a lot of interesting, smart things. They don't like Ted Malloch because he's a smart guy as well and been one of the first guys to really launch Davos and then been a board member and the rest of it. And he doesn't go along with their elitist policies. And so he's really, and we're gushing about Trump, but I mean, this is a lot better than Hillary Clinton and what they already had planned. But Ted, what are you getting from your inside sources? I mean, as you said, they're publicly embracing Trump suddenly, as they're all Hitler lovers now. And so, I mean, this just seems like another devastating victory for nationalism. Juncker, the unelected head of the EU, who's the main heir to the Nazi fortune and basically owns Luxembourg by fief, by CHOAM contract that his grandfather took it over for Hitler. He didn't show up, but Soros crawled out of the muck to say that Trump's going to end the world, Trump's going to be out before 2020, and a lot of really threatening things. Do we have any intel if these two snakes got in the same room with each other? I mean, not two snakes. This patriot snake, don't tread on me, and the little globalist snake.
Oh, no, all those people were there in the room. The room was overflowing. They said there are over 3,000 seats, standing room only. You couldn't, the lines going into the room were triple wide. You couldn't get in. Everyone wanted to hear Trump. Now, he disappointed some people, I think some of us, by not giving him the middle finger, but he was very diplomatic. He was very straight on. He stayed on script. I think it was a brilliant speech. He did hit on North Korea, Iran, and ISIS. He urged burden sharing in front of the Europeans who were not paying. And he said, I mean, if you want a theoretical point, he said, a nation's greatness is the sum of its people. We are stronger in sovereign nations. So he went to Davos and he gave them the message on American sovereignty. He actually called the people in the room. He called them out. He said, use your power for your people. America's
and again, we're going to play that. I should have gotten to that.
Make your country great. You can do the same thing. And this whole idea of greatness, I think, was resounding. But he basically said, you can do it. The only time he got booed or hissed was in the two questions he was asked by Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, where he knocked fake news. And then in the second question, he defended how his mind works, what's driving him. He said it's love of country. Well, too bad, Davosians.
No, you're right. This was a very epic speech where he explained culture, nationalism. That's what really matters, not some big globalist takeover. And before they take that Freudian slip and twisted. It was a Freudian slip. Talking about two snakes here. One didn't show up. That's, of course, the former head of the Central EU Committee, and then now the head of the overall EU, that being Juncker, and then Soros, the Nazi collaborator, as well. He did show up. So these two snakes, one showed up, one didn't. But I guess we don't have any photos or video to know if Soros even dared go into the same room with Trump.
Well, I don't know if he was in the room. He certainly made statements before his speaking, about Trump being a danger to the world. Al Gore was there, who was knocking Trump for not going along with the Paris Accord. So there are all kinds of people sniping at Trump as he arrived in that big helicopter in the snow. But I actually, when I finished, viewing the whole saga, I said, this is not the World Economic Forum. This is the U.S. Economic Forum. And what Trump is basically telling these people is, you can learn from us. Do what I did.
Well, that's the name of the last two segments with you when we put it on YouTube and Facebook. Trump has turned the Davos World Economic Forum into the U.S. Economic Forum. Or Davos is now the U.S. Economic Forum and is like a economic development bazaar.
Or for short, y'all are my bitches now.
What's crazy is the U.S. got hijacked and helped finance globalism. So isn't it perfect that America then roll it up?
Oh, no, look, what the Lord giveth, the Lord can take away. And Trump is taking it away because it's now time for him to take, special care of American citizens before he takes care of other people.
Just last year, Ted Malloch, the communist Chinese dictator president, traveled there and said, don't worry, I'll block Trump, I'll stop nationalism, I'll stop populism. He said that again about a week ago. Is he there? We haven't heard anything from him.
No, he's not there. There are people from his government there, but he's not there. And there's certainly all these European socialists are there. The audience is a mix of finance leaders, heads of state, prime ministers, but it's mostly business people who are benefiting from a strong America. The whole world benefits when America is roaring back. And believe me, it is roaring back.
And you're right. We only aired like 5 minutes of the speech today. We should have aired the entire thing over and over again. It's only 60 minutes long. It's on Infowars.com. Get it out. You see Trump's love of country, love of prosperity, and love of delivering. We've had lies, 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 and betrayal. We are now seeing somebody deliver, and I think we really should be gushing about it because the enemies of this country are so upset. But every passing day, the clock ticks down. Here's some of the president talking about what Dr. Malloch just discussed.
America is roaring back, and now is the time to invest in the future of America. We have dramatically cut taxes to make America competitive. We are eliminating burdensome regulations at a record pace. We are reforming the bureaucracy to make it lean, responsive, and accountable, and we are ensuring our laws are enforced fairly. We have the best colleges.
That's all code. Hey, your bureaucratic system of control to ship all our jobs out and to screw over U.S. companies, it's all going to be fair. It's all going to be by the book. And that's why companies are like, well, thank God we're moving back. Ted, like you said, every 30 seconds of this speech is just epic. And because I've talked to folks that saw it, Trump wrote this speech.
Well, I'm sure he had a hand in it because it's stuff he said before, and it has his twist. I'm sure a lot of people gave him sentences, but it's his speech, and he basically told the world that they have to play by the rules. No more subsidies, no more state planning, no more intellectual property theft. And this was just cheerleading for America. You had to be proud. He didn't do a lot of chest beating, but he did a lot of cheering.
Exactly. He made it all about the American people. I thought, and by the way, we have given the awards out for the People's Choice Fake News Awards. I just never announced them yesterday, but they've been paid. It's happened. So maybe later today I'll actually read those on air. But I thought, it'll be Russiagate. It'll be this and that. No, he made it about the American people. And the New York Times saying we never go to 3% growth rate. He made it about, look, this is about you. And it said in his award, the American people took action. They believed, they invested, they started new businesses, and they turned the economy around. He made the #1 fake news story what was really the most important, and I should have thought of that, Milo.
Yes, perhaps you should, but you didn't.
Trump did.
No, he's look, he's just this. He has this amazing gift, and I think that you share this gift with him, and some of our friends do too, of just cutting through the nonsense and the word salads and just here, look, here's the state of affairs. Here's what's going to happen for the next 18 months. Here's how it is. It's a very direct, plain-speaking manner that he has that is horrifying to the Davos elites because they don't speak.
They're a bunch of snakes.
Well, they are, but they also have this. It's a highly complex, sort of nuanced, almost sort of secret code language.
They've created very complex nomenclatures like guilds always do.
That's exactly the word I was reaching for.
To keep people out.
Right, and it's designed to enable them to give a 45-minute speech without actually saying very much. Trump, on the other hand, can give a 15-minute speech and say a lot, and
wow.
and chart out the course of the globe for the next 18 months in a quarter of an hour.
Ted Malloch, thank you for the time. Let's get you back on next week to really give us a recap of what happened. I want to spend a whole hour next week, maybe even Sunday, just playing the speech. This Sunday, I'll be back 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Thank you so much, Ted Malloch.
Okay.
TedMalloch.com. And we got Milo right here. The book, we're selling it, Dangerous, at InfoWarsStore.com. Be sure and get that, and be sure and understand, without you buying the products, the great supplements, the T-shirts, the books, you name it, at InfoWarsStore.com, we are not here. But look at all the reviews.
I'm going to let you know how my nose is in a few hours.
You have a perfect 5-star review, by the way.
Oh, I do?
And why should I give up when we're kicking globalist butt all over the planet? And all we want is classical, open, liberal, free Western society where you can live how you want and do what you want as long as you don't hurt somebody. That was used to. I wasn't a Republican or a Democrat. I was, pro-gun and pro-sovereignty, so I was against the Federal Reserve policy, so they called me a Republican. But man, I wasn't with all those blue blood globalists and all the rest of it. But now the Democrats have were they always this evil in modern history, or did they just mutate? Milo, Millie, got a bunch of topics we're going to hit, and we're going to get to Millie's big report here.
They were always this evil, yes.
They were always this evil.
Yeah, I agree.
This evil, yes. You surprise me. You're not a McConnell and Bill Kristol intimate.
No, I don't like the evil, because they're bad too. I always hated them, but the Democrats are now clearly like The Exorcist or something.
No. There's something demonic about it. There's something, there's something deranged about the level of inhumanity and hypocrisy and cruelty and meanness and the detachment from reality and reason and logic.
That's right.
There's an immature selfishness that drives it.
The globalists have fully taken over the Democrat Party, whereas the American people are starting to take back the Republican Party, save for a couple of the rhinos out there like John McCain, which they're
That's right, Millie. That was the party that we could at least target to try to get a foothold with, and that's what we got control of partially.
That's right. We took it back. That's the difference. The globalists still fully control and operate the Democratic Party. So when you're seeing the Democrats going up against President Trump trying to take him out, that's the globalists that do not want America First policy.
That's a multinational combine, and it's true, and Trump points it out, it's game over. As soon as the president got in and pointed out, we're not going to have secret groups running the country anymore, game over.
Yeah, these forces are just as powerful in the upper echelons of the Republican Party as they are in the upper echelons of the Democrat Party, but something about the character of, I guess because there's something about the individualism of people who believe in, faith, flag, freedom, First and Second Amendment fundamentalists, something about the Republican side means that the voter base is more hostile to state control, to those globalist tendencies, to social justice, to all of those kinds of, overarching mechanisms of control and authoritarianism. Something about the Republican base, the base of conservative voters in this country, splintered off. And, left-wing voters seem relatively well prepared to accept their lives being run by other people. In fact, many of them seem to crave it.
Exactly, and it was the final attempt when we tried to get them off our back to just say, no, we're going to run your life completely, that now people are like, we're done. We're never going to go along with you. Now, you're coming up at the start of the next hour, Millie. We're going to get into your report that just went live on Infowars.com. Democrat policies create SH-T holes. Then they exploit the crap holes. Then they bulldoze
Even CNN
the crap
will
holes.
say it out loud. You're quite proper. I've noticed.
Oh, no. The Democrats still control the FCC at the low level.
You know, he's quite proper because like CNN will say it out loud, but you don't like to cuss, do you?
We'll have to delay it for the stations. We're on TV stations too.
They'll use any excuse they can to try to shut him down.
Listen, they don't send the FCC because they have special leftists in there. When they see it, they check. They go back, and then they go after our affiliates, and they send a leftist to find them. And the people at the stations go, wait. Everybody else, they go, shut up! Here's your fine. Again, it's the same deal. So we are to a higher standard.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly true. And the report, if you look at the, let's say for the sake of argument that the Acorn thing and one other thing about Breitbart, for instance, is true. It's the same thing. They always hop on two, let's call them mistakes, although I don't think in either case it's as clear cut as that. In the history of an entire publication, which are relentlessly jammed down Alex Marlow's throat over there, versus not just way more mistakes, but deliberate, purposeful, premeditated mendacity on the part of CNN. They don't lie to their viewers by accident. They lie to their viewers every day on purpose.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
It's American Pravda, essentially.
Well, look at everywhere Democrats run. They are, even though there's some nice parts, a lot of stuff's nice in Chicago. It's got kind of like little you-know-what holes here and there. New York's got a lot of great stuff, but Maryland. But
you don't expect it.
The true latrines. The true feces holes, the true scat holes in America and all the world are liberal-run and communist-run areas. If you want to find, looking at a world map, look at those maps. If you want to find the hell holes, the crap holes, the scum holes, the nightmare holes, and not the glorious area holes, then you have to sit there and look at communist areas.
Well, as an expert on glorious holes, no, I look at that. Just look at this within this.
Isn't America compared to like China a glorious? We're talking about countries as holes. What is America? Is America not a glory hole?
America is the
glorious country.
America is the greatest glory hole of all. No. All you have to do is look within the country itself. Newark, New Jersey, Flint, Michigan, Chicago. They all have one thing in common, and
they're all Democrat-run.
That's what I'm talking about. that's what I meant.
I thought you were mentioning the SH.
No. I meant that they've all been run by Democrats for decades.
So CNN is the whole network, but are not Democrat cities the whole areas?
Of course.
Austin's the only one that isn't that, and they're trying to make it one.
Oh, they are trying so hard, and a lot of people are moving from the Democrat cities because they've become such rundown places to live. And of course, they're going to move to Texas and other places and start voting Democrat. They're not going to change. They're not going to realize that Democrat policies led.
That's the thing. They leave one toilet
from that place in the first place. This is the madness definition, repeating the same thing, expecting different results. You voted for Democrats there. It didn't work. Now you're going to come over here and ruin our spots by voting Democrat here and not realizing exactly the same thing is going to happen. Very frustrating.
They know, though, like you said, they're managing it. So that's coming up. But let's get to something really serious here. It's a story on Infowars.com. It's from the Chicago Tribune. But even the headline out of Information Liberation isn't strong enough. The guy has pled guilty. Okay, he admits to raping, sexually assaulting a 6- and 8-year-old, 38-year-old Chicago man, but he says it's okay because he is trans age. And that, I've learned, is the thing to say that no, seriously, they're saying, even in England, well, we're going to let a guy that identifies as a, 5-year-old who's 60 years old come play with your daughter. And if you don't do it, you're a ageophobe. You're a trans ageophobe.
Well, how old is he identifying as? I'm curious.
He identifies as a 9-year-old.
Oh, my goodness.
He says he's a 9-year-old trapped in an adult fat slob's body. I mean, and of course, look at him. Can you imagine this guy, like under NAMBLA rules, they want to be able to have this guy come and have your 7-year-old daughter go out with him.
They say you can't judge a book by its cover, but that is a kiddie fiddler. No, look, do you remember when we were all laughed at when we said, oh, look, if you go down this road, if you let people pick their own pronouns, decide one day that they're women, decide one day that they're this, it's going to end in madness. And we were all laughed at. We're all laughed at. 3 years ago, I did a joke video way before Rachel Dolezal or Sean King, where I came out as transracial, as a joke. And now it's now it is like a reality, of these people declaring that there are other races, other species.
My wife walks in and I'm shaving, and she goes, "You look like Colonel Sanders." and I shot a video on it. We haven't uploaded it yet because I'm all hairy and look like hell. But I'm still going to upload it.
It needs the
No, but the point is that I made a whole joke that said, I identify as Colonel Sanders, and you better accept it, because California will arrest you if some dude with a beard and tattoos says, I'm a woman, and you don't agree. Did you see where the man came into the National Health Service and said, give me a pap smear? And the lady said, dude, you've literally got, beard and tattoos. And like
no cervix.
Look, zoological, trans-species.
Trans-species. Well, what about when animals, their carers decide to say, my animal, my cow actually identifies as a human and should have human rights. Where does the insanity stop?
Wasn't there that woman who wanted to marry a chandelier or something?
That's right, a lamp.
A lamp. She wants to marry a lamp.
That's a huge movement. They have TV shows about guys that have sex with their cars. So I said, do I have to learn the acronym and get it right? And they went, Jones claims gay men are going to break in your house and rape your car.
You didn't do it. It was on television.
But I didn't say it was a gay guy who wouldn't have sex with a car. I said, what do you call a movement of having sex with inanimate objects?
Probably is a gay guy, though, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks like a pink Ferrari.
You're not supposed to say this because, the gay lobby has been for years trying to say don't make any connection or confusion between gay people and, and all of these other weird various fetishes and sexual deviancies and all the rest of it. But there does seem to be a preponderance of homosexuals in all of these weird...
it's called mechophilia. Want to have sex with machines.
I've also seen...
Mechophilia.
Mechophilia. Want to have sex with helicopters, ships, airplanes?
Although actually cars like ships, are they female? Is it her?
That's what I'm saying. I know.
In popular culture,
there's plenty of pervs that are gay, but there's plenty of heterosexual pervs.
There's plenty.
What if I wanted to have sex with that television set? What if I identify as a TV?
What gender is that TV?
I think it's red, white, and blue.
It's elegant. No, it must be a woman.
It might be trans, multi-dimensional. Who knows?
Did you hear where the Google execs walk in and go, I am a golden dragon and a beautiful ornate building, and they make the employees go, you are an ornate building, sir. Ornate building, yellow dragon.
Oh my goodness.
We laugh about it, but they've got our kids in the public schools right now. Like Camille Paglia says, brain damaging them severely.
Someone called me on my show yesterday. They said, I have a friend who's got kids. They're 7 and they're 9 years.
Hold on, we got to go to break. All right, it certainly happened today. Millie Weaver, of course, we have the one, the only, Milo Yiannopoulos in studio with us. It's been a family show because they're teaching this to little kids, trying to change their sex or whatever. So we got to talk about this. We laugh about it, but it's really scary. But you mentioned it during the break, Millie.
Yes.
I happen to have the article from Infowars.com by Paul Joseph Watson. This article won't be seen unless you get it out, folks. And it says CNN promotes cuckoldry as positive for modern relationships. I remember about 3-4 years ago, Paul kept saying leftist are cucks. And I went, what's a cuck? He had to explain it to me. So I guess if you don't let, just a busload of dudes have your wife or whatever, you're not a good guy. And I keep seeing in leftist media, they promote this as a great idea, but it's never, have your wife watch while you have sex with a bunch of women or guys, because that would be abusive. No, just your wife. She needs to have sex with other men in front of you, even though they know statistically this is the fastest way to break up a relationship.
Of course, introducing other people into a relationship is the first step to breaking up, right?
And just as you were saying, Milo, CNN's just pandering to their own audience. They are cucks. and I must hand it to Paul Watson. He called it on the soy boys because literally after the Women's March, the floor was littered with soy lattes, literally. Okay, I videotaped it, everything. And now this, and CNN's even talking about, how wonderful cuckoldry can be for
And think about it. They know it's the #1 way to break up in a relationship or marriage, and they're telling married women do it. It's everywhere now. I didn't even know what it was 4 years ago. Everywhere. Cuck. Yeah. Your wife's got to do what she wants. You don't. You stay home. It's like, CNN's literally trying to break your family up. They are like Loki. They're like demons.
Well, I wouldn't be so mean about the god of mischief. Loki.
He's a nice guy compared to these people.
Loki is innocent in all of this. These people are devils. The extent to which the media will make space for and will provide coverage for things that are anti-family, traditional values, all the rest of it, despite the wealth of evidence that shows us that, children do better in nuclear families, people do better in monogamous relationships, everyone.
Because this is totally normal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, obviously in the cuckolding scenario, I'm the wife, so I have a slightly different perspective on all of this. I'm the one with the basketball player, while my rich elderly husband watches on in panic and horror. No, I'm just kidding. But the key to understanding all of this is that you know, they have tried for a long time to put this all together. Finally, they've got Dan Savage, who's this wacky gay journalist who in 2002 used to say really sound stuff about Islam. He used to say, well, you know, given the choice between the Republicans and...
Sure, they say in the article, he's the leader. This gay guy is telling everybody, hey, let your wife have sex with other guys because we're going to break your family up.
Well, yeah, I mean, the inevitable result. This is the first step to breaking up. When you want to, you know, when you get bored of one another and you have to introduce other people into a relationship, that sort of, the writing's on the wall at that point.
I'm surprised that we're not actually hearing more about teachers teaching children about polygamous relationships in school and saying how wonderful cuckoldry can be for...
Well, I'm not trying to act cool, but, you know, I've admitted I've been promiscuous earlier in my life. I never, really? I mean, I never liked it, and I had girlfriends that thought, hey, baby, you want to, I was like, no, I really don't want to, you know, it's not a good deal.
He's got that Trump thing, like, I get it, you know, like, I get why women would swoon over him.
Oh, yeah, right. So, like, I'm not bragging about it. The point
is... No, it's fine.
No, I didn't want girlfriends to bring other women in, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You did...
It was never other guys. And I was like, no, baby, I don't need to, you know, you're good. Because it's like with your woman, with your wife, that's the connection. It's everybody who's done menage a trois, I'll be honest, knows they suck. In my experience.
They do. I think this comes down to something very simple, which is that many of the journalists writing these stories are single and miserable and bitter, and in their 30s they were lied to by feminine.
Yeah, they think menage a trois are great. They're not. They're not.
They're not. These people strike me as deeply loveless. When you have a real, abiding, sincere, profound love in your life, the idea of like bringing somebody else into the bedroom is horrifying. And doing it, of course, is going to break up your marriage.
Exactly, because you sync up with the person you love.
Of course, I mean, it goes without saying. But I think that the majority of these liberal journalists, the Vice writers who who write these stories about men are fooling around with men in unprecedented numbers because of blah blah blah. I think they're just loveless, and I think if you look at
and they're scared to ask women out because that's rape now. We'll be right back with Milo, a million more. All right, we got Milo Yiannopoulos here, Infowars.com reporter Millie Weaver. Get his book, Dangerous, at InfoWarsStore.com. Go to his website, Dangerous.com, and sign up for all his big exclusive shows and transmissions if you want to fight censorship. And just briefly, because I get, to having fun on these shows and telling the truth and being honest with people, and I totally forget to plug stuff. If you don't go buy books, videos, T-shirts, water filtration, stuff you already need, the very best products out there at the lowest prices, we're not going to be here. It's just that simple. I had a system on Google Ads with... I always get it flipped because one company was great, it was bad. It was AdRoll. And then they banned us, and we were exponentially going to fund the whole place, not even plugging on air. Because believe me, I don't like doing it either. I was to be able to fund everything with the algorithms and just basically unlimited funding. And everywhere I go, that this company kills it, that company kills it. Then the major credit card companies kill it, even though I have great credit. To where I've met with the lawyers, the lawsuits have started. I've been signed on to some of the Google lawsuits. My name's in them. I told you I was meeting with people. I can't get into all these lawsuits, but I'm involved in 4 lawsuits right now against tech companies. And some of them are already trying to settle with me. So let's just get this straight. I am fighting back, not because I'm litigious. I don't even want money. I'm just like, stop. I'm literally this. The left kept saying what Trump's done to women is like, what Hitler did to Jewish women or something. It's crazy. Meanwhile, just what Matt Drudge warned of, I'm being blocked, Milo's being blocked from going out on the new big credit card and money exchanges and even getting websites, even being in commerce. I mean, that's true blockades. It's military attack. It's sanctions like I'm Russia. So I'm not complaining to the audience. I'm just saying we get too cheerful here. You're all we've got, and we're persevering thanks to you, but get great supplements, get great films, get great books, check out the great products, and do it knowing you are in their face defying George Soros, who's behind it all. I don't want to give him extra magical powers, but my God, 9 times out of 10, it's him. This guy is just unbelievable. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. We've got our new ultimate turmeric product, Body Ease. If you don't know what turmeric does, research it. It's incredible. It's the strongest, most concentrated form out there. Great reviews. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. We have Pollen Block. which, again, is a very proprietary non-GMO system.
I'm already feeling cleaner.
Really? When you got Dawson, you got hit with the allergies.
No, I did. I'm no longer...
Tell folks what happened.
No, I woke...
Seriously, bodies...
Look, I can't tell you anything other than... Look, I came in here with a bunged-up nose, and now I don't have one. I'm not... I mean,
So I'm ranting.
Every time I come here, I end up popping a pill. Every time.
Sort, right?
It was brain force last time. This time it's pollen. I mean, I don't know. I do feel better.
Did brain force work?
Well, it was a good show. Don't you remember when we did that read through of the Newsweek special, the Madame President, and with our Cosmos?
Oh.
I would say brain force works.
That was an amazing show. I remember watching it and just laughing so hard. It was amazing.
I was smiling for about a week afterwards.
By the way, Milo, I met you a few times, and you were in a good mood and really smart and funny, and you came here before. But you're on fire. What the hell's going on?
Well, thank you for that.
I'm not normally intimidated, but I mean, you are just the charisma, the energy. Well, thank you. I'm kind of like feeling a little junior here right now.
Well, thank you.
I'm feeling cucked.
Yes, she's mine. No. Thank you for saying so. I think I stopped drinking, and in love, married now. I think you get sort of this.
You're happy.
Well, I told you didn't look bad before like me, but you look about 10 years younger.
I don't know about that.
He's got the newlywed glow.
I mean, I do feel happier. Anyway, I love compliments, but I want to pay you one, which is, you were talking earlier on, I remember when I had just started to hear about you, whatever it was, 5 years ago, and people were like laughing, oh, this guy who says George Soros is behind everything. One of the things that I liked most about you was that you were, look, everybody knows, if you go to, there's think tanks who do this research at the Capital Research Center, which impeccable credentials, Washington, D.C. Republican think tank that does research into where the money comes from for Antifa, where the money comes from for the divestment sanctions Israel. They know that you're right about all this stuff, but does National Review write about it? No. Does any other, does Fox News talk about it? Not really, not enough. Weekly Standard, Commentary Magazine? No, you're the only guy who's been out there for years saying, this is this guy, and this is what he wants, and this is what he's trying to do.
I just know every time I'm getting screwed over, it's him.
It is. You can trace the money back, and it ends up being Open Society Foundation. Republicans know this. They know it because think tanks with impeccable credentials like the Capital Research Center, do trace the money. They follow the money, and they're like, oh, okay, we were right. It was George Soros. Let's move on to the next thing. Nobody talks about it. Nobody tells anyone.
Meanwhile, he's suing everybody. He infiltrates groups. He finances BuzzFeed. He's a Nazi collaborator. And then they have CNN go, Alex Jones is a liar. George Soros never had anything to do with the Nazis. That guy was on 60 Minutes saying he worked for him. His dad wrote an autobiography that he helped round him up.
He funded the groups that derailed my Berkeley speech in February. We found out after the fact. It was an Open Society Foundation thing.
Exactly. I don't want to give him this much power, but he is literally.
I mean, this is domestic terrorism. This is people taking pepper spray and baseball bats and smashing up public buildings because a conservative is speaking. And not just beating up the conservatives, but beating up people who weren't even fans, who just came along because they were sort of interested in it. And whoever got kicked...
lesbian women that just wanted to hear a controversial speach. Like, I remember in college, I would go hear the Black Panther... There was some. I would go here. There were some. I would go try to hear the Black Panther speak. I would go protest the KKK. Just as I was going to, I could have got beat up because I was white going to it. I mean, it's like, since when does the left not let controversial speakers speak? And then you're not even controversial. They're controversial that they don't like you.
Well, the left and George Soros are taking advantage of the situation with the millennials right now. The millennials are very confused generationally. They have had a lot of problems. They've got massive amounts of student debt. They've got a situation where their employment does not pay for their living. They can't pay off their student debt.
So
they're struggling.
Did you see that? It was like yesterday or something, right? The secret, the dirty secret of the entire millennial generation.
Oh, yeah.
Their parents are paying for their living.
45%.
Millie just said it all, though. That's the key.
They're struggling. And so what's happening is, meanwhile, the millennials are going to these universities where the professors that are being hired are Marxist professors, telling them that the reason why they're struggling is because of capitalism, not because the Democrats have ruined everything and been corrupt.
Well, it's Cloward and Pivot. They admit they're giving them obsolete degrees on purpose to make them a revolutionary, pissed off force, mad at the only system that can save them, provenly. Right. Yes. And exactly, because they can't just screw people up. They've got to then screw them up and then point them at somebody who's the enemy.
What upsets me about it is that, going to take the culture war and the political war stuff out of it, although I understand that that's the driving, the prime mover behind what the left is doing. What upsets me about it is going to university is supposed to be a time of joyfulness. It's supposed to be a time of broadening horizons, when you explore your sexuality, where you explore your intellectual, capacity, find out what you're capable of, read, watch, learn, discover things, and come to view the world and other people in a way you never thought possible. Learn more about yourself, all the rest of it. Well, taking the joy out of the subjects and policing, student sexuality.
They are killing Western civilization.
That's right.
They are liberal killers, because the university and true open thought is liberalism, and they are literally liberal killers telling you they're liberal like the body snatcher. They're strangling Lady Liberty to death, going, I'm the liberal, I run everything, watch what you say, I'm the boss.
That's right.
It's true.
It's so bad that even a Facebook page has been created called Film Your Marxist Professors, where college students are submitting their film footage, and these professors are literally speaking, saying, we need communism, and talking about all that weird gender identity, gender bender stuff.
What they've done in the liberal arts is they've replaced the study of the actual subject, whether it's art or literature or music or history, with a system of criticism about the subject. So rather than looking at the original text, what does this mean? What does this say? How does this teach us about the world around us? What does it say about freedom, about personal responsibility?
There's no critical thinking.
Well, they've replaced that with a sort of thin critique, all based on social justice, which is just cultural Marxism. It's
a thin critique, then with an orthodoxy of a cult you must follow.
Right,
right.
But they've taken the wonder of exploration in university and the open possibilities out, and replaced it with a dogmatic system of politics through which everything.
So if they're not really liberals, they use communism for control. What they are is really evil social engineers.
That's right.
Absolutely. And I've spent as much time on American college campuses in the last 2 years as perhaps anyone else in the country. And what you're saying is absolutely right.
If I try to walk on them, it's like the Body Snatcher movie. They literally just go.
They get triggered.
Next time I come down, we should take a little trip to UT Austin for sure.
Absolutely. I wish you weren't leaving today. Hey, we'll be back to get to this other report where the left takes over. They create giant crap holes. All right. Alex Jones here, back live with Milo Yiannopoulos. Doesn't need any introduction. Of course, Millie Weaver, our great reporter. Coming up, Joel Gilbert will host the last 30 minutes, and the War Room's coming back up. And Milo's a hardworking guy. He's going to be back in there with our own Owen Schroyer. But since we mentioned this, Millie and Milo were bringing this up during the break. I went and pulled the articles up with the crew. We're talking about how we're being colonized by Antifa in Austin. And they'll have like an apartment and a trust fund. Sometimes they're worth millions of dollars, we've discovered. But they live 4 or 5 days a week homeless in these camps to do photo ops and to try to control the poor people and to try to create a climate of Cloward and Piven to bring things down. There's the Atlantic, homeless by choice, how to live in America for free. But again, it's to only hurt the capitalist system. What it's like to be voluntarily homeless. And this ties into your report on Infowars.com, how Democrats create American you-know-what holes, and then how they exploit them and how they bulldoze them. So you were both very eloquently ranting about how this is a program of control. They do this on purpose.
Yes.
Dems policies create huge crap holes. They first exploit, then bulldoze. What is the master plan as California does this?
Well, it seems like Agenda 21 to me, because when you have the Democrats offering aid to refugees and illegal immigrants, but neglecting American citizens, most of the people living in these tent cities in California are Americans, and they actually do have jobs, believe it or not. And there has been a large influx of younger millennials at these camps doing drugs and whatever else. But a large portion are just hardworking people that want to get out of the hole. The problem is the cost of living in California is so high. You'd have to make around, they said, $8,000 a month to be able to afford the median rent asking price. So that's a lot of money.
And I noticed most of these are old carpenters and veterans that are mainly white.
That's
or
right.
Hispanic or black, and then you've got all the rich millennial
Plumbers,
white kids
truck
partying
drivers.
in there.
This is the most amazing phenomenon of the decade, the hipster homeless.
That's
people
right.
people who are like, it's like hipster hobos or something. I don't know, but it's incredible.
I would say that there are a lot of hipster hobos, and those are the younger ones that want to just do drugs and there's no rules. That's literally what the homeless people say there.
Sure, but exactly. But then you've got all these old, hardworking,
legitimate
displaced handymen.
But it's easy to opt out of society when you have a penthouse to go home to, or you could call your dad if you get into trouble.
That's my point. I want to talk about them. What is because your video gets into all of it, Billy. It's powerful. People should see it, how the left creates crap holes. That's a separate issue. Why do they create crap holes? That's the second question. I'm asking, why when I go out and see this, Antifa gets in $100,000 vehicles that I don't have. You know, I'm driving a $60,000 Ford truck, and by the way, I love it. It's awesome. I'm not complaining. And then they're rich, and then they're bitching about America. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, these are the people who have benefited from this sort of corrupt late-period capitalism, multinational corporations in bed with multinational government organizations and all the rest of it. They're benefiting from the fruits of this late version, this sort of late nepotistic, elitist, corrupt version of capitalism, and deciding because they can afford to opt out of it as a sort of lifestyle.
There are a lot of millennials opting out where they'll just like convert their vans out and live on the road. They think it's trendy. So I have seen that. I think there's a lot of Antifa jumping on this thing.
Well, they say, I don't want to be part of society, but they couldn't go to Venezuela or Cuba or...
Well, they wouldn't go anywhere actually communist.
Because they'll kill you in 2 seconds for doing that.
They want to opt into a socialist lifestyle within a safe capitalist democracy because that's the way you have your cake and eat it.
So where do you see this going, Milo, and then Millie?
I would have liked to imagine this was just some crazy brief youth movement, but we know that it isn't. We know that the millennials are the first generation who aren't growing out of their youthful socialist indiscretions. They're staying bitter, miserable, and deranged well into their late 30s.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Sacramento Bee-Knows report, half of millennials, or 54% in one poll I saw, say they want communism and want to bring down capitalist systems. This is like people out on a beautiful ship on the ocean doing great, having a great time, and there's a horrible rotting thing. There's a horrible rotting lifeboat, and they say, we want to sink this ship and get in the lifeboat.
But we're failing to recognize here the fact that a lot of these homeless people living in California actually are hard-working Americans, and the fact that the Democrats have created this problem reaction solution. This is why Trump says America first. We're housing and helping our refugees and illegal immigrants.
But not taking care of our veterans.
Our Americans. A lot of these people are our veterans. So when Trump's saying America first, it's not because he doesn't want to help necessarily these people.
Bringing down America lets the globalists take over. He knows that. Bringing us down to a lower level doesn't help the third world. And Millie, you're right. Those are separate issues. Your report gets into all of that.
Yes.
That's the question. Why does the left create hellholes knowingly?
Well, this is what we would, sometimes when you on the show use words like demonic and satanic, and we referred to this earlier on, this is what we're talking about, this sort of, this otherworldly cruelty, hypocrisy, this Twilight Zone aspect to Democrats, to modern leftist politicians who are able with a straight face to say that it is a good thing. There are veterans, homeless on the streets, barely able to feed themselves, having to do, jobs around the edges for cash, while they're advocating for amnesty. So
where does it all end, Millie, and then Milo? Because I want to get to these points. I got one more here too.
Terrifying.
Well, essentially, it's going to continue to get worse as long as California continues to be a Democratic state. There used to be a time when California was a Republican state, believe it or not, and they didn't have this massive homeless crisis. Every time you turn the state blue, massive homelessness, unemployment, problems.
They ship them around, don't they? Because they well,
they use them. They're like, look at this, capitalism sucks. Look what we created. We tell them to crap on the ground, give them everything. But that's what I'm saying. And you try to tell a leftist, why does all the communism and socialism end like this? Why are you pushing Clark and Piven? They go, shut up, you Nazi. That's what I'm saying. They never juxtapose and never have the debate because we know there's evil controllers and then there's minions, but what percentage, Milo, do you think of leftists actually know they're consciously pushing an evil system and they just want control of the wreck they create?
As I get older, I get more cynical. As I learn and read and discover more,
me too.
The percentage of people I think are doing it on purpose gets larger. And now I think it's like 50% pure evil and 50% just abject stupidity, selfishness, and hypocrisy.
It's like Gruber saying, "Thank God the Americans are so dumb and don't pay attention." They want that, but I think. In closing, and then we're going to be back on a podcast, we're back in the war room, and Millie's got a report on Infowars.com. It's a great report. I just have a gut feeling we're going to win. I mean, why wouldn't humanity want prosperity? Are we really going to be run by a bunch of Bernie Sanders?
Well, you have a lot of liberals right now that I talk to in California that are aware of this homeless crisis, and they're mad at the Democrat politicians. They're mad at Governor Jerry Brown. They're mad at Maxine Waters. They see that these people are failing to do their job. And so I think it's important to point out, hey, this is because of Democratic policies. And when these guys are hypocritically saying to Trump, oh, you called these other foreign countries shit holes. Well, meanwhile, they have one in their backyard that they're failing to address.
And that's why do they create giant open-air sewers?
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
They preside over them and they perpetuate
That's
them,
right.
and they have a vested interest in keeping
They
these
do,
areas
and
like this.
it's exactly
So that's it.
right.
The left are craphole rulers.
And
They are lords of the.
No, I mean,
delay me here, but they are lords of the shithole.
There are Mugabes. I mean, there are people who have a vested interest in staying in rarefied, walled communities while they preside over decline, chaos, and inhumanity.
They're spending more money to treat the homeless problem as a police problem by arresting them and letting them go, than actually just getting the social programs out there to help them out of it.
Yeah.
It's like they want.
They're pure evil. Millie, your reports on Infowars.com. Milo, Dangerous Tour. We'll be back with another great reporter on the other side. Joel Gilbert. And then Milo will be back on the War Room coming up. Stay with us.